Okay, now in the last assignment I taught you how to find the slope given graphs, okay? A person can find a line slope if they know the points on the line, okay? You don't need the graph, just you got to know the points on the line, okay? It's simply the change in the y units, change in x units, and this is the key formula today, okay? Y minus y, x minus x. That's how you find the points. So, for example, don't worry about not having graph paper. You don't need it, okay? If I can find it. So, for example, 4, 2, and 6, 8, okay? Now, you don't have graph paper. I understand that, okay? So, this is x, this is y. So 4, 2. Well, this is x, you want to label that xy, and the 6, xy. Now, on x, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then on y, you're at 2. So it's 1, 2. So 4, 2. There's the first point, okay? Now 6, 8. So I go 5, 6, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 6, 8. Okay. So that's the 2 points. You got to find the slope, but of course you don't have the graph. Okay. So you apply this formula. It's y minus y, x minus x. Okay. So you put minus minus. Now, you want to start with the point that has the higher x. So underline your x's. 6 is bigger than 4. Okay. So what I do is I have 6 on bottom, the x has to be on the bottom, and then the y, the 8 has to be on top. Now after your minus signs, you put the 4 on bottom and the 2 on the top. Okay. So 8 minus 2 is 6. 6 minus 4 is going to be 2. Now reduce that. Okay. So if you look at your multiplication table, 6 and 2, here's 2, here's 6, so they're in the second row. So I divide them by 2. So that's 3 over 1, okay? And that's your slope. Now, after you find your slope, put equals m, okay? Because m is the variable that they use for slope. I don't know why it's m, but they use it, okay? Negative 3, 0, and 2, negative 5. So xy, xy. So y minus y, x minus x. They're coordinates. Okay, so when I compare my x's, positive 2 is bigger than negative 3. Okay, so I put 2 on bottom, you put your x on bottom, and negative 5 on top. Then after the minuses, you put your negative 3 on bottom and your 0 on top. Now negative 5 minus 0 is just negative 5. Now if I'm minusing a negative, that's actually plus plus, okay? Minus a negative is actually addition. So that's 5. Now, when you get the same exact number like that, you can reduce it, not by 1, by 5, okay? So it's reduced, when we end up with the exact same number, it's reducible by that number. So that's negative 1 over 1 equals m. Okay, negative 5, 3, negative 8, 10. Okay. So y minus y, x minus x. Okay, so I'm comparing the x's to know which one to start with. Negative 5, negative 8. Negative 5 is bigger than negative 8, so we're going to start with this one. So put 3 on top, negative 5 on the bottom. Then after the minus is 10 on top, negative 8 on bottom. So 3 minus 10 is negative 7. Now I have negative 5 and I'm minusing a negative 8. Well, that's like adding positive 8. So it's negative 5 plus positive 8, which is 3. Now attempt to reduce. 3 and 7. Here's 3, there's no 7. Here's a 3, here's a 7. So you could reduce that by 1, but it doesn't reduce. It would just stay negative 7 over 3. Okay, 9401. Okay. Okay, so I compare 9 with 0. 9's higher, so 4 on top, 9 on bottom. Then 1 on top, 0 on bottom. So 4 minus 1 is 3, 9 minus 0 is 9. Now try to reduce it. So 3 and 9. Here's a 3, here's a 9, they're in the third row, okay? So we reduce them by 3. That's 1/3. Okay. -2, 5 and -2, 10. So y minus y, x minus x. Okay, so I compare my x's and they're the same, okay? So it doesn't matter where I start, I'll start with this one, okay? So I put 10, -2, then after the minus we're going to put 5, -2. So 10 minus 5 is 5, and we have a -2, we're minusing a -2, that's like plus 2, and that's 0. Now you can't reduce with 0. When you get 0, you go to your calculator and you divide, okay? You're like, oh, it's 0. Actually, it's not. It says error. When you get error, you write the word undefined. Okay. And we'll see what a line with an undefined slope looks like later, but if you get divide by 0, undefined. Okay, xy, xy. 6, 4. 6 is higher. So, -4 over 6. So is the y over the x. Then after the minus, you got the -4 over the 4. So again, I'm subtracting a negative number, so that's like adding the positive of that number, and that's 0. 6 minus 4 is 2. Now, go to your calculator. It's not undefined here. 0 divided by 2. I don't get that error message. I got 0. Okay? So 0 equals m. Now, you're like, why did I get error on the one, but not the error on the other? When you have 0 on the bottom, it's undefined. When you have 0 on the top, it's just going to be 0. Okay, 1, 2, and 7, 7. Compare 1 with 7. 7's bigger, so I put 7 over 7, and then 2 over 1. So that's going to be 5 over 6. Now find 5. Okay, here's 5. There's no 6. No. There's a 5 and a 6, so it's just in the first row, which means you just divide by 1, which means it's not reducible. Okay, 5, 6 is in simplest form. Okay, 3, 4, and -5, 0. So y minus y, x minus x. So I compare +3 and -5. +3 is higher, so it would be 4 over 3, and then 0 over -5. 4 minus 0 is 4. 3 minus -5 is +5, which is 8. Now you got to put that into simplest form. Here's 4, here's 8, so they're in the fourth row, so we reduce by 4. Not by 2, it's got to be in the furthest row down. So that's 1 over 2, 1/2. Okay, 3, 1, and -5, 3. Okay, now I get a 3 and a -5, so 3 is higher, so it's 1 over 3, and then 3 over -5. So 1 minus 3 is -2, minus -5 would go +5, and that's 8. Now try to reduce it. So here's 2, here's 8, so second row, so I reduce by 2 because it's in the second row. So it'd be -1 over 4 equals m. Then negative 5, negative 4, 1, negative 2. Okay, negative 5, positive 1, positive 1's higher, so I go negative 2, positive 1. Then negative 4 over negative 5, so I got a negative 2. If I'm subtracting a negative 4, that's the same as adding a positive 4, which that is 2. 1 minus negative 5, that's like adding a positive 5, which is 6. Okay. So here's 2, here's 6, that'd be in the second row. So it'd be 1/3. Okay, then finally, negative 6, negative 6, negative 2, negative 2. So if I'm comparing negative 6 to negative 2, negative 2 is higher. Okay. So negative 2 over negative 2. And then after the minuses, minus operators, you have negative 6, negative 6. So I got a negative 2, and then that's like a plus 6, which is 4. Same thing here, you're going to get 4 over 4. Now, you can reduce this by 4. If it's the same number, you can reduce by that number, and that's 1 over 1. Okay.